Hey guys, it's Zeno, and it's my turn to teach you about dynamic lighting in Roll20. Dynamic lighting is probably one of my favorite features because it really uses the online-only tools to bring a more realistic approach to personal light and vision in terms of roleplay. Now it all starts in the page settings. Here, before we go over to dynamic lighting, we want to go down and check out that there is an advanced fog of war and dynamic lighting here. We don't need to use these because we're already going to be using this tab. And this tab is a lot easier. You turn dynamic lighting on. Explorer mode allows for the map to be updated kind of by memory. So if they go into a room and then leave it, they'll still see the grayed out version of that room. But what they won't see is the enemies sneaking in behind them later on. Not until they go and view the room themselves again. Daylight mode allows light to be consistently on. Vision will still work, but this is for if you're outdoors or in a well-lit area, you'll want daylight mode on. Update when token drop is a useful tool for, let's say, unruly players. If you take your token and scout ahead, you can see everything and then bring it back and drop it back where it was. To everyone else, it won't look like anything's changed, but you'll be able to see whatever your character sees even if you drag them around corners. Update when token drop gets rid of that. It allows the lighting to only update after they've let go of their character. If you trust all your players, and I do, save for one who likes to run into walls a lot, I like to keep this off because it looks a lot cooler, and I'll show you that in the demonstration. But if you have people that like to be a little cheatsy, the option's here to stop them from doing that. Then of course you have the darkness opacity, which is just how much the GM sees grayed out. Everybody else will see pure black wherever they can't see. So we hit OK. And now we have a couple of different colors going on. And that's because Crow over here has dark vision, which I've outlined in blue. I'll show you what this all means in the settings, but I want to show you the results first. So Crow, after you move her, she can no longer see in this area. She can only see where the blue touches because there's dynamic lighting. If you go to the dynamic lighting layer, we'll see what that is. Using the polygon line tool on the dynamic lighting layer, I've just outlined everywhere I don't want them to see through. This tall rock wall and of course the outline. I want to keep my lines kind of inside where there is a barrier so that they know what they can't see past. Back on the objects and tokens layer, you can now see that that's exactly where everything has been stopped. Raylan over here has a torch. Wherever he moves, his light's going to stay with him and illuminate different areas. Artie down here doesn't have a torch. She doesn't even have dark vision. Let's go see what Artie sees right now. Here's what Artie sees. Because she doesn't have Crow's dark vision, she can't see around the corner. She can only see where Raylan has been spread to his light. His light also reaches over here, but she can't see past this wall. Now let's go see what that looks like in settings. Starting with the advanced tab, she emits 5 feet of light, and at 0 feet it starts to become dim. So that's what the slash is. This is the total radius, and then this is when it starts going dim. This means it's all the light around her. All players can see that light, and this character, this token, has sight. Now, most people don't emit a small beam of light. I do this so that the players don't lose their characters in the darkness. If they end up in an area that's too dark, they just won't be able to see themselves. So if you have them emitting at least a little light, as long as they have control of the token, they'll be able to see it. Next we go to the dynamic lighting tab. She has vision. In fact, she has night vision that goes up to 60 feet, and I've tinted it blue. Limit field of vision is an odd one. It allows you to change the angle by which you can see. It's a little more realistic. Say you do about 180 degrees in front of you. then you'll only be able to see what direction your token is, like see in the direction that your token is facing. And while this is a little more realistic, in practice it tends to be a little wonky. You'll end up having characters needing to spin consistently, so you'll have characters that are upside down looking out through the bottom of their shirts where the token cuts off. So in practice it's a little odd, but if you want to be more realistic, limit field of vision is here for you. This token, because it's Crow, is not emitting bright light or low light, just the personal light that we had in the previous tab. So the total light she's emitting is 0. Down here in advanced settings, there's just one, which is the light multiplayer. It allows you to change how much you see past where your light is. It's a little experimental, you can play with it. I just leave it at 100 and everything seems fine. So, now that we've saved it, as a GM, we are only seeing what Crow can see and is emitting. So, until we mess with another token, it's just on Crow. So this is how far her dark vision is, and if we move it around, we can see as far as it goes. Next is Raylan. He's holding a torch. In the settings, that looks like this. He's emitting 20 feet of bright light, and at 10 feet, it starts to go dim. All players can see this light because it's a torch, everyone can see it, and he has sight. In the dynamic lighting, this token does have vision, but it doesn't have night vision. I've kept limit field of vision off. And this is where he emits 10 feet of bright light and 10 feet of low light. On the previous tab, we see he emits 20 total, and at 10 it goes low. So here we do the same, it just looks a little different. He emits 10 feet of bright, 20 feet of low, or 10 feet of low, for a total of 20. So, we can now see that around him is that lantern. Now, here's something that's a little bit different. Talmiran is going to cast Dancing Lights. I already have a token that's set up for this, where he can just drop the Dancing Lights, and they'll update where they can see. Now, these ones are emitting light, but these ones aren't, and I'll show you why in a minute. So the settings for a dancing light is that it emits 20 feet of light, and starting at 10, it goes dim. All players can see it, but it doesn't have sight. It doesn't have vision or night vision, and emits 5 feet of bright light and 5 feet of low light. The total light is 10. So now we can see what the light sees, which is nothing. But let's go back to Artie. Artie can now see Raylan's lantern and Talmiran's dancing lights. She's the actual only one that can see that there's danger afoot. She doesn't even know that Crow is up here somewhere. And that's just a few examples of what you can do with dynamic lighting. Now it's your turn. Use dynamic lighting to bring some light and color into your game, and to also leave little surprises for your players just around the corner. I'll see you next time, when it's my turn.